In 2014, scientists pointed powerful X-ray scanners at one of Leonardo da Vinci's most famous paintings, expecting to uncover tiny corrections beneath the paint. Instead, they found something astonishing. Hidden underneath the masterpiece was not one earlier sketch, but three completely different versions of the same portrait. The woman had once been painted alone. Then Leonardo added a small gray animal. Later, he painted over it again, transforming it into the large white ermine we see today. That discovery raised a question that has fascinated historians ever since. Why would one of history's greatest artists repaint the same portrait multiple times? Was he simply changing his mind? Or was he quietly hiding a message beneath the surface? Because when it comes to Leonardo da Vinci, almost nothing was ever painted without a reason. Every hand, every shadow, every glance, every tiny detail was carefully planned. And in this painting, one mysterious animal may hold the key to understanding a secret relationship, political power, and one of Leonardo's greatest symbolic masterpieces. The painting, now known as Lady with an Ermine, was created between 1489 and 1491 during Leonardo's years at the court of Milan. It was commissioned by Ludovico Sforza, the powerful Duke of Milan and one of Leonardo's most important patrons. Most art historians agree that the young woman portrayed is Cecilia Gallerani. At the time, Cecilia was only 16 years old. Despite her young age, she was already famous within the Milanese court for her intelligence, education, and remarkable beauty. She wrote poetry, spoke Latin, participated in philosophical discussions, and impressed many of the leading scholars of her time. But there was another reason she attracted so much attention. She was also the Duke's mistress. This portrait was created during the height of their relationship, making it far more than a simple image of a young noblewoman. It was a carefully crafted statement filled with hidden meaning. At first glance, the painting appears surprisingly simple. There are no golden crowns, no luxurious throne, no richly decorated palace in the background. Compared to many aristocratic portraits of the Renaissance, it almost feels restrained. And that was completely intentional. Instead of surrounding Cecilia with symbols of wealth, Leonardo wanted the viewer's attention to remain entirely on her. Her expression, her personality, her presence. She wears an elegant but relatively modest dress. The jewelry is minimal. Only a delicate strand of dark pearls hints at her high social status. Even her hairstyle follows the fashionable style of late 15th century Milan, carefully painted with extraordinary precision. Everything about the portrait feels natural rather than theatrical. That realism became one of Leonardo's greatest strengths. He wasn't interested in creating stiff, lifeless portraits. He wanted his subjects to feel alive. One of the most remarkable things about this painting is that it never feels frozen in time. Cecilia isn't looking directly at us. Instead, her body turns one way while her head turns even farther in another direction, as if someone has just entered the room and captured her attention. It's a tiny movement, but it changes everything. For the first time in Renaissance portraiture, the viewer feels as though they are witnessing a real moment instead of a carefully staged pose. Even the lighting enhances this illusion. Soft light falls diagonally across the painting, illuminating the left side of Cecilia's face while leaving the opposite side in gentle shadow. The transitions are so smooth that her skin almost appears to breathe. Leonardo achieved this using the technique known as sfumato, allowing light and shadow to blend together without harsh outlines. Rather than painting sharp edges, he painted atmosphere. That subtle softness became one of the defining features of his art and would later reach perfection in the Mona Lisa. As your eyes move through the painting, you begin to notice that nothing seems accidental. A blue shawl rests over only one shoulder instead of both. Its bright color immediately attracts attention and creates balance within the composition. Her elegant fingers gently wrap around the creature in her arms. Even the direction of her gaze leads the viewer's eyes naturally across the canvas. Leonardo wasn't simply painting a beautiful woman. He was guiding the viewer through a carefully designed visual experience. Every line, every shadow, every gesture, everything works together in perfect harmony. But despite all this extraordinary craftsmanship, one detail continues to dominate every discussion about the painting. The strange white animal resting peacefully in Cecilia's arms. Because that animal isn't just decoration. It may be the single most important clue Leonardo left behind. And understanding its meaning changes the entire painting. The animal in Cecilia's arms is known as an ermine, a small member of the weasel family famous for its brilliant white winter coat. But if Leonardo simply wanted to paint an ermine, something immediately feels strange. Look closely. The animal is far larger than a real ermine should be. Leonardo was one of the greatest observers of nature in history. He dissected human bodies, studied birds in flight, designed flying machines, and filled thousands of notebook pages with detailed anatomical sketches. Someone with that level of knowledge would never accidentally paint an animal with the wrong proportions. Which means one thing. The ermine was probably never meant to be understood literally. It was meant to be read as a symbol. And over the last 500 years, historians have proposed several fascinating explanations. The oldest interpretation connects the ermine with purity. During the Renaissance, people believed the animal would rather surrender to hunters than stain its beautiful white fur by escaping through mud. Whether that story was true didn't really matter. What mattered was what people believed. The ermine became a symbol of innocence, self-control, and moral virtue. Interestingly, Leonardo himself later mentioned this legend in one of his writings, describing the ermine as an animal that valued its purity above its own survival. If that's the message here, then Leonardo may have been presenting Cecilia as a woman of exceptional character rather than simply a nobleman's mistress. Some historians have even suggested another layer of symbolism. The Greek word gale, meaning weasel or ermine, closely resembles Cecilia Gallerani's surname. If that's intentional, then the animal also becomes a clever visual pun, a hidden signature identifying the woman in the portrait. But perhaps the most widely accepted interpretation is even more intriguing. The ermine may actually represent Ludovico Sforza himself. Just 2 years before this portrait was painted, the Duke received the prestigious Order of the Ermine from King Ferdinand I of Naples. After receiving the honor, the ermine became closely associated with Ludovico and even earned him the nickname, the White Ermine. If that's true, Leonardo wasn't simply painting Cecilia holding an animal. He was painting Cecilia holding a symbol of the Duke. Without showing Ludovico's face, Leonardo quietly placed him inside the composition. It was an elegant, almost invisible way of acknowledging their relationship while maintaining the dignity expected of a court portrait. The painting suddenly transforms into something much deeper than a portrait. It becomes a story of love, power, and politics hidden beneath beautiful brushstrokes. Another theory takes the symbolism even further. Not long after Leonardo completed the painting, Cecilia gave birth to Ludovico's son. Some scholars believe the ermine may have represented protection during pregnancy, since the animal occasionally appeared in Renaissance symbolism connected with childbirth and motherhood. Others think the animal represents something even more abstract. Rather than symbolizing pregnancy itself, the ermine reflects Cecilia's influence over one of Italy's most powerful rulers. Notice how calmly the powerful creature rests in her arms. It isn't wild. It isn't aggressive. It appears completely under her control. Some researchers see this as Leonardo's subtle suggestion that Cecilia possessed remarkable influence over the Duke himself. Whether any of these interpretations are correct remains impossible to prove. Perhaps Leonardo intended several meanings at once. That was one of his greatest talents. He loved creating images that revealed more the longer you looked at them. Why did Leonardo repaint the portrait? Then came the discovery that changed everything. When scientists examined the painting using advanced X-ray imaging in 2014, they uncovered something hidden beneath the surface. Originally, there was no ermine at all. The earliest version showed Cecilia sitting quietly with her hands resting naturally in her lap. Later, Leonardo added a much smaller gray animal. Only in the final stage did he transform it into the large white ermine we recognize today. Why? No one knows for certain. The most convincing explanation is that Leonardo gradually realized the symbolic importance of the animal. Perhaps the portrait began as a relatively traditional commission. But as his ideas evolved, he decided the ermine should become the visual centerpiece of the entire composition. Another possibility is purely artistic. The smaller animal may have looked awkward beside Cecilia's figure, disrupting the balance of the composition. By enlarging it, Leonardo created a stronger visual harmony while simultaneously strengthening its symbolic impact. Knowing Leonardo, both explanations could easily be true. He was famous for constantly revising his paintings, endlessly searching for perfection. For him, a masterpiece was never simply finished. It evolved. Surpris. Singly, Leonardo may not have been the last person to alter this painting. Today, Cecilia appears against a deep black background. But scientific scans tell a different story. Researchers discovered evidence suggesting the original background may once have been a rich dark blue. There may even have been an opening behind her shoulder, possibly a doorway or a window, that later disappeared beneath layers of paint. Most historians believe these changes were made during 19th century restoration work rather than by Leonardo himself. That means the painting we admire today is not exactly the same one that left Leonardo's workshop over 500 years ago. Even so, the most important parts have survived remarkably well. Cecilia's face. her graceful hands, the delicate modeling of light across her skin, and of course the mysterious ermine itself. Every one of those elements still carries the unmistakable brilliance of Leonardo da Vinci. The more technology reveals about Lady with an Ermine, the more mysterious the painting becomes. Instead of solving its secrets, every new discovery seems to create even more questions. Why did Leonardo repaint it 3 separate times? What exactly did the Ermine represent? Was it purity? A hidden portrait of the Duke? A symbol of pregnancy? Or perhaps several meanings woven together into a single masterpiece? The truth may never be known. And perhaps that's exactly why Leonardo's paintings continue to captivate us centuries later. Great art doesn't simply provide answers. It invites us to keep asking questions. So now we'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think the Ermine really symbolizes? Share your theory in the comments below. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden mysteries behind one of Leonardo da Vinci's greatest masterpieces, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next journey into the secrets of history's most fascinating works of art.